Where's John?
What's all the excitement?
Wakando.
We can't find John. He was heading that way.
Oh, no. Check that old refrigerator.
Thanks, Wakando.
Remember, never get in anything that could close up and trap you.
Like an old trunk or an abandoned refrigerator. Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
I think we need to hold each other to a schedule.
Yeah, I think, like, this is perfect for me, like a Sunday morning type thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, I know your job doesn't really allow all the time for that, so.
Let's see what we can figure out.
Or I could, you know, whatever. We'll figure it out.
Sure.
I think when like, you really want to do it, you do it.
Yeah,
Even if we just said we're going to do this once a month.
Yeah.
I think we should be able to commit to that once a month.
I think so.
You know, if we just said every third Sunday, this is what we're going to do. And that's what we would do.
I like it. Third Sunday?
Whatever. You know, I'm just saying that because this is the third Sunday of this month. That's the only reason I'm saying that.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you just made a schedule.
Yeah.
You're the boss, man.
Every third Sunday. That could be like, I don't know. What's up, Chris?
Good morning, John.
How you doing?
You know.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
I do know.
How's that coffee, man?
I drank it all.
You drank it all? Do you like my coffee? It's a little.
Yeah, it's a little different.
I like it strong.
It's strong. Yeah,
know?
it is strong.
I like it like I like my women.
Dark.
Black and strong. I was going to make a gay joke and say, I like it like I like my men.
Yeah.
Strong and black. I'm not attacking the gay community. There's nothing wrong with a big, veiny, black dick, all right? Let's not start out being cunts already.
Yeah, we don't
all
need
right?
to be cunts just yet. Yeah, I need a lighthearted conversation this week, man, because it's been just oof.
A little tough. Well, we won't go into that. But
Yeah, we're not going to go into that.
yeah, well, you know. I'll tell you what, man. I've been looking for cartoons for my kids to watch, and
Not really a whole lot to.
Well, so modern cartoons, I feel like there's no, like, they're trying so hard to, like, educate or, like, illustrate something or, you know, like, or it's just so mindlessly stupid that it's like,
Yeah.
it's nothing. So, like, I guess, like, because I'm a dirtball from the 90s, I was like, fuck it, let's look up Ren and Stimpy. So I did. I found Ren and Stimpy on, I don't know if it was on Disney Plus or Hulu or...
Yeah, I don't know who has the property to that.
Yeah.
I don't. What did they come on? Nickelodeon? Were they a Nickelodeon show?
It was a Nickelodeon show, wasn't
Was it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not that familiar with it.
Yeah. Really, you didn't like Ren and Stimpy?
It's not that I didn't like it. I don't think.
I loved it.
Yeah, I think after like a certain age, I didn't really watch too many cartoons anymore. Not that I'm like really nostalgic for a lot of the things I grew up with. Like I love it.
Yeah.
Like to this day, I still love everything that I loved as a child. I just think like once I hit like, I don't know, like a certain age, I didn't watch a whole lot of animation unless it was like drawn, like superior, like some superior type of artwork. I didn't really get into it. You know?
Huh.
Yeah.
No, not me, man. If there were certain shows, like I miss Rocko's Modern Life, I miss, and I don't know why, but I always kind of liked the gritty ones. Like I loved Ren and Stimpy because there was like this, it was probably way too smart for
a kid.
For a dipshit kid.
Yeah.
You know, there was
There's
definitely
like a lot of adult humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you didn't know it. So there was a lot of slapstick, which I still think is hilarious. Like
Right.
Ren freaking the fuck out and slapping the shit out of Stimpy.
Yeah.
And his head spins like 4 times in a row, and you can see like these ripples in his neck because he smacked him so.
That's an aspect too of like cartoons that I kind of miss, because it feels like now it's like everything is about like
soft and nice.
yeah, not just soft and nice, but also like let's dumb it down so that everybody can relate to it. And you're not like I felt like growing up, like a lot of the shit that I watched, I didn't have a whole lot of frame of reference for what it was about, so it was like the show kind of educated me.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, let's not even waste our time trying to educate people. Like, if they can't relate to it, don't put it on. I think because people's attention spans are so small now.
Yeah.
But, like, when we were kids, like, we had, like, I don't know, like 6 channels. We had, like, 3, 6, 10, 17, 57, and 29. And, like...
That's when we were really little.
Yeah, right, like, when we were really little. And then, like, even when we had cable, I don't think we had more than, like, 100 channels.
Yeah.
But now it's like, you got...
Millions.
You got like 500 channels and you can't find nothing to watch.
Or on
demand. So if something doesn't catch your attention right away, you flip right by it.
Yeah.
So I don't think people really waste their time trying to educate a kid about something like they used to.
But also on the entertainment industry, I swear, I feel like there's maybe, dude, it's like, I'm like always going to attack this modern woke. And it's not just woke, but it's also like this soft anti-bullying bullshit of like, now they're like afraid to show Bugs Bunny smacking the shit out of, one of the other characters.
And that shit was just entertaining.
Well,
all it was entertaining. I didn't go out and want to beat somebody up because I watched Bugs Bunny. I didn't want to fucking smash somebody with a hammer because Tom and Jerry smashed each other with hammers.
Dude, they really believe
it was
like,
humorous.
if you can remove all violence from these TV shows, which is crazy because they do and they don't. They do and they choose when it's okay to see violence, like I don't know, man. It's so the cartoons to me, when you watch these little kids, my children are 2 and 3 years old. They're watching Mickey Mouse, or I don't know. Right now they're upstairs watching The Rocketeer, which is like I guess a spin-off of the Disney movie The Rocketeer, which is also an older it might have been a comic book. I don't even know.
I don't know either. And that's because that's something I usually would know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's very comic bookish. You know what I mean? Like the character is very much like a superhero kind of thing.
Yeah, like a spin-off of Iron Man. Like a kid, a kid makes his own little rocket suit and flies around and saves people. And listen, it's cool, but even when you watch it, modern cartoons, they've detached. Like, it's so soft that there's no confrontation. Even the bad guy in the show, it's like this very mild, like, ha-ha, I robbed this bank.
Yeah.
And I'm going to drive away. And then the good guys are like, oh, no, let's go get the... And then when they get the bad guy, it's like this really soft, like, hey, we told you not to do this. And the bad guy's like... I know.
Yeah. It's so like...
Dude, in reality, he just robbed a fucking bank.
Yeah. I think like that comes into... what am I trying to say here? Like, you're not being creative. Like, the people who are making it aren't being creative. Like, there's all these parameters and guidelines... When I was a kid,
the red tape is ridiculous. Dude.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, like my biggest twist in life from the time I was 5 years old was G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Like I love G.I. Joe, a real American hero.
Yeah.
Like I just love it. And but I didn't know anything about the military when I was 5 years old. I didn't know any and it's very science fiction.
Sure.
It's not just like straight ahead military, It's a very sprawling kind of Marvel type story.
Sure.
With all these
it's fun.
500 characters and
they're kind of like heroes, they're kind of like superheroes.
Exactly. And actually G.I. Joe was supposed to be part of the Marvel Universe before it became G.I. Joe. It was actually it was supposed to be like a Nick Fury thing.
No shit.
Nick Fury as S.H.I.E.L.D. It was going to be Nick Fury and the Fury Force. And some of the G.I. Joe characters were created specifically for this Marvel property, like Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and things like they were supposed to be part of this Fury Force thing. And Cobra was actually Hydra. But when Hasbro came in and said, look, we have this idea to resurrect this G.I. Joe toy line, we need, some kind of spin here. They took this Fury Force idea and turned it into G.I. Joe, and they're like, well, who's the enemy going to be? So instead of Hydra, the first thing was, we're going to call it Cobra. So it was like, it's a very, like, right now, had that not happened, you might be seeing, like, certain G.I. Joe characters and all this Marvel stuff. But, so, like, G.I. Joe was like a Marvel property, but it was specifically created to sell a toy line. But back to what we were saying, there was all these parameters of things that you couldn't do.
Right.
You couldn't have blood.
Yeah.
You couldn't have death. I mean, you have a military thing with no death.
Yeah.
You couldn't have bullets.
Sure.
All these guys are walking around with this very, like, accurate military equipment.
Look like a machine gun.
Machine guns, but they're shooting blue and red lasers at each other. And, like, they couldn't have a helicopter explode or some shit without the character having a parachute on.
Huh.
Like, there couldn't be any possibility that somebody was going to die on the TV show. But you would have never realized it had you not really examined it, because the creators were creative enough to kind of work their way around these things.
That's an interesting take. I never even realized that until you just explained that now.
Oh, man, there's all this stuff. Like, but it was so interesting and so intriguing, and there was so much left to your imagination.
Yeah.
That you didn't even really worry about it. Like, I mean, you have a story about the military with, good guys and bad guys. There's no death. So it's almost like the story is almost morally bankrupt because there's no consequence to it.
But they were creative enough
But they were
keep
creative enough to keep you going. And, I mean, there's so many little intricate storylines, and, you wonder through the entire series, what does Snake Eyes look like under the mask? They never show you, but you're always wondering.
Yeah.
What's Cobra Commander look like? The mask, there was such a thing with mask in G.I. Joe that it was always like, you were always imagining something more than what you were seeing.
Yeah.
And, but now everything is so oversaturated that it's like, if we don't reveal anything here, people are going to lose interest.
Dude, I loved Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
I would wear beaters just because of that.
Because of Sergeant Slaughter?
Dude, I was like, that's what a fucking badass does. He wears beaters.
That's like one of the unsung heroes of the 80s there, man. Like, Sergeant Slaughter just would cross over into shit. Like, he was a pro wrestler.
Yeah,
and he would just cross over into...
Dude, this is gonna... Look at how this ties in, dude.
That's so fun.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, I remember that was actually one of the few times when I did kind of pay a little bit of attention to wrestling is when
Slaughter was there.
Yeah, I was like, oh, dude, look at him. He is a fucking badass.
Yeah, and then they fucking made him an Iraqi sympathizer.
Really?
Yeah, in 1991, it was like one of the cheapest storylines in the world, but it got like, but that's what wrestling is. Wrestling is like a satire of real life.
Yeah.
So it's like they do something, and it's the way they present it. They present it almost like in this arena of sport where you almost think like that's so cheap that they would do that without any, like, it's almost like, listen, you fucking idiot. This is a TV show.
Yeah.
This is not a sport. None of this has any bearing on anything reality based. This is a complete satire of real life. Like, we don't have Nazi sympathizers that are wrestling for fucking world titles. Like these prop belts. What the fuck do they care? They're of no consequence. I mean, like, you look at like the Iron Sheik. Like that, he became the world champion right around the time of the Iran-Contra thing.
Really?
It was totally to get sympathy for, the good guy to wrestle him.
Yeah.
So when they that's how Hulk Hogan became Hulk Hogan. He beat the Iranian guy.
Yeah.
And, everybody was behind him. It was like, this fucking Hulk Hogan dude better fucking whip the shit out of this Iranian motherfucker, this Iran dude, So that's how Hulkamania became a thing.
Really?
So, I mean, wrestling is like this real, like, kind of redundant thing, but there's a simple genius to it.
Isn't that what all TV shows and, like, dude, when I think back to the 80s and the 90s shows, even the early 2000s, I enjoy when you talk about real life.
Right.
What I don't enjoy is you pushing an agenda on me.
Yeah,
Like
don't try to change my point of view.
Yeah, it's okay.
You can educate me.
Yeah, it's okay if you lightheartedly tread on a modern topic. But, like, dude, like we discussed in an earlier episode, that show Shameless. I loved it. Mm-hmm. And if you would have just kind of brushed on, like, oh, Trump's doing this or Biden's doing that or whatever, and just kind of, like, walked away from the story and didn't push it, just mention it and, like, try to set it in my modern world, I would have went, yep, okay, yeah, they live in the real world with the rest of us, and they're dealing with modern politics. But instead, you pushed it so fucking hard that I never even finished the show. I was like, fuck this show, you know? And to me, like, even back to the cartoons is like, dude, it's so ridiculous that, like, I don't feel them pushing... well, some of them, it's kind of funny. I was watching one show with my kids, and it was very Greenpeace. Like, they were, like, saying weird shit like, well, that's because he drives a car that burns a lot of emissions. And I was like...
Trying to educate you about, like... Yeah.
What, dude? Like, this is a kid's cartoon. They're fucking 3. They are 15 years away from fucking knowing what that means.
Yeah, but...
You know?
I don't really... Like I said, like, if that's an agenda. That's not educating something about, like,
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, and I don't want to keep talking about wrestling, but, like, this was a weird thing to me. They had a guy whose gimmick was IRS. When I was, like, 10 years old.
Internal Revenue Service.
Those were his initials, IRS.
Oh,
Erwin
God.
R. Schleister.
How
and
boring
this dude,
is that?
Right, exactly. Super boring. At 10 years old, I
And
didn't
his
know...
name is Shyster?
Erwin R. Schleister, IRS. That was his gimmick.
Isn't Shyster like a derogatory term towards
exactly.
Jewish
He was a
people?
bad guy. He was a bad guy, and he would wrestle in like a fucking collared shirt with like short sleeves with suspenders, fucking slacks, and like shoes. It looked really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But he was like a wrestling accountant.
Yeah.
So like for me, being 10 years old, I'm like, what the fuck is the IRS, and why do I give a shit about this fucking nerd? Being a wrestler.
Yeah.
But that's how I found out what the IRS was.
Really?
Like, so it educated me on something that I didn't really know anything about at that age. But, see, like, what you're describing is, like, when they're talking about, like, the carbon emissions and all this shit like that, they're trying to dictate what a kid knows. And I'm not saying that those aren't real things to worry about.
Yeah.
They are. But you're not just laying out the information for them. You're kind of dictating how they're supposed to think about it.
I guess that's the issue. Is it's not a fact. It's an opinionated.
Right. It's a bias.
It's a fact with an opinionated slant on it, and that's the part where, like, listen, I'm a hot rod guy, and even as a hot rod guy, I do concern myself with, our pollution of this planet,
Right.
But I also think that, like, a 3-year-old, like, I don't think that it's like, I don't know. I guess it's the same old shit with, like, even with, like, the modern social issues with the gay community and all that.
You can't dumb it down to the point that you can't enjoy anything.
I sometimes just think, dude, they're so fucking young. Do we got to start this early? But then it's the great question of when is the right time?
Right.
So, like, I don't know. So the moral of what I'm getting at is I was like, dude, I just want, like, funny, like, what is a cartoon?
See, to me, like, that's, like, I know you kind of dig, like, that Ren and Stimpy kind of thing. You like the funny stuff. You like the zany kind of cartoon. And I love Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, I like them, too.
I love the Looney Tunes.
Yeah, I loved it.
I loved all that shit. But for me, like, cartoons, when you say we want to talk about cartoons, like, I'm all about that stuff like the fucking G.I. Joe, the Transformers, the adventure kind of sci-fi type thing. Like, that's what I loved as a kid.
Okay.
But I loved, like, the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
And I hate that, like, I can't fucking watch, like, you know what else? I loved Popeye.
Yeah.
Popeye would never be on today.
Yeah.
Would never be. I mean, like this.
Yeah, I bet you can't even find it.
You really can't. Like, you gotta, like, really look for it to find it.
Or Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
You can't find original
Nah,
Looney
they won't
Tunes
just
cartoons.
air that shit. I mean, you got 500 fucking channels. You can't watch Looney Tunes. You can't watch Popeye.
So what I noticed...
Popeye was a household name.
I don't know if it was a glitch on my Apple TV or what, but I did find Ren and Stimpy on one of the apps, whether it was Netflix or Hulu or whatever. Yeah. I did find Ren and Stimpy, and I'm scrolling through. So I started singing "Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy" to my kids, and they're laughing, and they're like, "Oh my God, Dad's acting crazy."
They think you made it up, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna play that episode and show them this is where it came from.
Yeah.
This is when I was your size. This is what I was watching, and I used to run around singing that shit like everywhere I went, And So I'm like scrolling through the episodes, and I suddenly realized there are certain episodes that are blacked out, and I can't
You can't watch them.
watch them. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is
Because
this
they
all
did
about?
something in there that they don't want showing you now. They did that with an episode of Seinfeld too. Like you can watch reruns of Seinfeld on, I think like on TBS or some shit like that. They'll put them on, but they won't play one particular episode.
I love you, buddy. My kids are here. I love you, baby. Look at them little crazy monsters. Hey, go upstairs.
That's cool.
Whatever. We're gonna have kids playing in the background.
Fun. We're having fun.
This is a dad podcast to some extent.
So, what were we saying? Oh, there's an episode of Seinfeld that you can't watch. It's the Puerto Rican Day Parade.
Really?
Because I think they burn a Puerto Rican flag or something like that, or it touches the ground or some shit. So they won't play this particular episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So they burn a Puerto Rican
I don't know
flag.
if they burn. I gotta go back and watch the episode. Like I think you can watch it on like the Netflix. Like Netflix has it, you can watch it there, but they won't air it on regular TV.
Really?
It's like they go to the Puerto Rican Day Parade and they kind of get stuck in like traffic or whatever, and they just get into like their typical Seinfeld situations through the entire show. And I think at some point Kramer does something with a Puerto Rican flag, and like of all people, I mean, I guess because of like what Kramer does later on in actual real life, like
Yeah.
like all right, you can't fucking put this one. I don't know if that even plays into it, the decision.
Yeah.
But I guess they just deem it too offensive to be on TV now. And I don't think it's offensive, and I don't think like if you were to talk to a lot of like Puerto Rican people, they would give a shit, you know. But
I
that's
think
just
Puerto Rican people have a great sense of humor,
yeah,
and probably
I don't know. I'm just saying in general, I don't think people would really care,
Yeah.
you know. But that's how it goes. We got an adventure going on down here today, buddy.
You ever feel like you're broken, and your constant stream of silent tears have nowhere to go but the gutter? Welcome to Car Wash, where the trash is overwhelming. And all the vacuums do is make noise and take your money. Car Wash. We don't suck, you do. So put your money in there and shut your damn mouth.
All right, that was a little break for our sponsors. Kevin Healy, we're going to put one of your episodes right in there. I had to kick my fucking kids out of the room.
So where
Dude,
were
I
we?
thought it was going to be like humorous to them playing in the background. I swear to fucking God, they were getting louder and louder. I don't know if my face was turning red over here or
That's
what.
cool.
But
Listen, man, that's what this is. It's all good. It's fun.
I was like, dude, I got to hit stop because I'm going to fucking scream at these kids.
Nah, it's all right. They're having fun.
Oh,
They don't
man.
feel good, you know. It's whatever.
They're okay. They just got boogers, man. They've been
Yeah.
So my kids, you know, I don't know, man. I'm sure everybody's kids. You're a dad of, you know, I'm sure every fucking month. My wife is like paranoid that like there's some big thing going on, and I'm like,
People get sick.
dude, I think little kids that are new to this planet and all of the billions of bacteria and viruses going on,
They're gonna be sick.
they're going to be sick, man. You know? She's like, oh, yeah, but they've been sick for months now. And I'm like, well, it was wintertime.
Right.
You know? Like, this is when people get sick.
That's when
They
you
go,
got colds.
they go outside, it's fucking 30 degrees. I mean, this year hasn't been, but...
Right.
And then they come in house, and it's 70 degrees in here.
Yeah.
And the viruses are like, oh, we can live good in here.
Yeah.
You know?
Nah, my son Victor would get sick every time the season changes. He has terrible asthma and stuff like that, so he could like really sick.
So
Yeah.
we did get Genevieve an inhaler. Gabby did. I'm kind of iffy about it. I think she's
Yeah.
just regular sick. I don't think she's asthmatic.
Yeah,
I
you'll
could be
know.
wrong.
No, you'll know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll know.
I think she's been coughing because she had phlegm in the back of her throat.
No, she's definitely sick. I mean, I saw that sneeze.
Ooh.
earlier.
Dude, that was a fucking...
It was awesome.
That was a booger to
Yeah.
behold.
You ain't kidding.
We should name this episode The Booger
The
to
booger
Behold.
to behold.
All right, so cartoons. That's where
Yeah.
That's
well,
where we're...
we left off that Kramer's a racist.
Kramer's...
Yeah.
Do we always come back to Kramer? This guy, man.
No, it just.
He,
but I'm curious to know like what other episodes out there. Like that's something that I would want to research to see like what they won't show now.
Yeah.
Because like you can't watch Popeye. You
Yeah.
can't watch it. I mean Popeye is like this. You know, you got Bluto, who's like this rapist trying to bang Olive Oyl all the time,
Yeah.
and Popeye, who's beating the shit out of him every episode. It's like Popeye gets the shit kicked out of him.
I mean, from a
spinach,
feminist
kicks the shit.
standpoint, this guy seems all right.
But
the
I've
problem
seen like
is,
some weird shit that they do with Olive Oyl. They stuff her in a fucking trash can, or like she's going down like a conveyor belt, or they're fucking pulling on her at a fucking car. You know what I mean? Like one's got her legs, one's got her arms, and they're tugging at her.
Yeah.
So like, I guess like you don't want to.
But she's also a damsel in distress, and right
Yeah,
now in
but I
modern
mean-
society,
Yeah.
in modern, let's see.
I love Popeye.
Let's see how they would rewrite. How would they rewrite Popeye as a modern cartoon?
Yeah.
I could see.
Popeye, you need to stop being so possessive of me and so protective.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Bluto is like, look, man, I'm really sorry. I'm just really attracted to you. And
Pluto would be the same. He would still be like a gorilla, male chauvinistic piece of shit.
yeah,
And then Olive Oyl would be like a CrossFit chick with like shoulders, and she would like, I'll beat your fucking ass. I don't need a man for nothing,
Yeah.
And then Popeye's little arms will go away because like, other than jerking off all the time, there's no real reason for his
They have
arms
those
to be
forearms,
like that, So Popeye would probably be like a
I love Popeye.
Starbucks employee, or
Yeah.
maybe he works for Google and he just like filters content or something. Like
He's not a sailor anymore.
he's not a sailor.
Yeah.
Sailors are not necessary because the world's perfect now. Nobody fights anymore.
Yeah.
We're all just happy people.
And you get that
Even in
jerk.
the third world countries where they really resent the way Americans live, they're just perfectly content with us. So we don't need a military force no more.
Yeah.
That's the way this world should really operate
Popeye in the new
in the modern society.
in the modern
you know?
society.
Popeye's like, it's okay. I'll pick up the kids from school. It's okay.
And then like what else
And Olive
is there?
Oyl's like, you better, bitch.
But like Looney Tunes, I mean, what won't they show there? They won't show like the Japanese stereotypes
Yeah,
from World War
yeah.
II or anything
Or,
like that, or the Nazi stereotypes.
Mexican,
Yeah.
what's his name? Speedy Gonzalez is.
Oh, there's no
good.
more Speedy Gonzalez.
Nice.
No?
You can't have Mexicans looking like that.
He's
They
like-
don't really look like that. I mean, they do,
It's
but
a cartoon character, man.
yeah, but you can't portray a Mexican mouse with guns and fucking 5
And
gallon.
a bandolier.
Yeah,
and a big
like you
fucking
can't.
sombrero
They're
or
not
whatever
really
it is.
like that,
Yeah.
but they kind of are.
Nah,
I mean, I got a lot of Mexican friends, and I'm telling you right now that they all have tattoos of that fucking mouse. They took pride in that.
Oh yeah,
shit.
that's the thing. Is like
Dude, they were like, yeah, hell yeah. Hey, man, this is fucking rad.
I love that too. I love how like certain characters affect certain cultures and stuff like that. Like,
That's like rednecks with,
dude, every
what's the little cowboy, the little,
Quick Draw McGraw.
no, from the
Oh,
Looney
Yosemite
Tunes.
Sam.
Yosemite Sam. Every redneck I know thinks
Loves
that
Yosemite
they're
Sam. Yeah.
thinks that they're that. And then like, what are the bikers? The bikers sometimes have like the Tasmanian Devil
Yeah.
or the hot rod guys. We love
The Rat Fink.
Roadrunner.
Oh, Roadrunner.
Roadrunners are
Okay.
shit, dude. They even
Yeah.
put that on the side of a fucking Dodge Charger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
the
pretty cool.
Roadrunner. They named it the Roadrunner.
Cool.
They took the trademark from
I
Looney
love the Looney Tunes, man. I love
Yeah.
that shit. They were great cartoons. They're really, and like that's the other thing. Like for me, artwork is imperative.
Yeah.
You know, like when I sit there and I go back and I watch some of the cartoons I watched as a kid, and I go, man, this animation really sucks. Like G.I. Joe's animation is really subpar. It's not that great.
Yeah, well,
But
it's plain.
it's a lot of stuff going on. It would be
Yeah.
hard to draw it all. But like those cartoons like Looney Tunes and
Yeah.
like Tom and Jerry, they're drawn beautifully. You
Yeah.
know, and the animation is spot on, and there's a lot going on, and it just looks good.
I feel like late 80s cartoons, they were still very two-dimensional, and they weren't
Yeah.
really that concerned with
The art.
shading, or it
Right.
was really about just portraying the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you looked at multiple shows of that era, you have G.I. Joe, and then they even had the Barbie show and Jem, very similar artwork.
Yeah.
You know? For me, I guess the reason I liked 90s art is because it suddenly changed. I
It
loved
became
Ren
more
and Stimpy.
stylized.
Yeah, I loved Ren and Stimpy because I did really enjoy the detail, and then occasionally they would do these still images. Like if
I
Ren,
mean, like a painted still.
I
Yeah.
love it,
They do
you
it
know?
a lot in SpongeBob SquarePants too.
so I,
Yeah.
I think that it's similar, the same artist.
Oh, is
or
it? Yeah.
I think that there's a relationship between.
Ren and Stimpy and SpongeBob.
Yes.
Because SpongeBob has some really cool, like lowbrow looking like scenes.
So SpongeBob is one of the more modern cartoons that I actually, when I did finally sit down and watch, I was like, this is pretty good.
Yeah, it was
you
pretty
know?
good. Yeah.
I can do this.
My
you
kids
know?
loved it. My kids watched it all the time.
Yeah,
But I actually liked it too. Like there were things about it that I thought were hilarious.
yeah.
There's a scene I think where SpongeBob's like sitting in like his living room, and he's watching like something on the TV. What is that shit? The fucking white. The white stuff. What is that stuff under the sea? That sea life that just looks like a plant, but it's just like fucking undulating. The white fucking squiggly shit.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he's watching the white squiggly shit on the TV. It's actual footage of the white squiggly shit, and he's watching it very intently, and you're like, why is he watching it like that? And then Gary, the snail, comes in, and he quick turns it off, and you're like, oh, that's like porno to fucking SpongeBob. And my kids don't realize that, but as an adult, I'm like, oh, that's fucking hilarious, dude. That's great. He's like, Gary, what are you doing? And dude, it's so fucking funny. I loved it.
I want to go back and watch it now and pay a little
Yeah.
more attention because I think that's
There's
one of
probably a lot of adult humor that you realize as an adult, like that's what it is, but to a kid, they don't even know what the fuck you're laughing at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they haven't done that yet. You know?
So I guess that's what I kind of miss is like
the tongue-in-cheek kind of humor.
I like the fact that they used to write shows that everybody can enjoy and watch. Now there is a modern show that's my kids watch, and I didn't realize that there are some hidden gems in there. So like they watch this show called Bluey, which is from Australia, and Bluey's they're little dogs and they're very imaginative, and it's cute. It's a cute little show for small kids. But dude, I was watching the one episode with my kids, and I'm half-assed playing on my phone, paying attention in the background, and then all of a sudden, Bluey's friend is like, "Yeah, my daddy doesn't live at home no more."
Yeah, it's
and I was
crazy.
like, "Whoa, what the fuck just
That's
happened
wild.
here?"
Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, I was like, "Holy shit! What is this like?" I guess you gotta say that because that's the way people live now.
Yeah. Like,
Oh,
make it
okay.
relatable to kids that have that issue or whatever.
Yeah, and there's been a
Mm.
few times where they like.
I used to get weirded out when they would do shit like that on TV, man. Like,
So at one point there was like a gay couple or something, and they had to like explain to Bluey, and they were like, "Well, he's got two dads. That's just the way it is, Bluey." And you're just like, "What? Okay, yeah, I guess that's the conversation we're having now." You know, like,
yeah. It's weird.
not that it's bad,
Dude, when
but
I was a kid, like we talked about on the last episode about Different Strokes, because like I went off on that little tangent about Dana Plato. But well, Different Strokes used to have like some really fucking scary episodes, man.
Really?
Like it was supposed to be a wholesome family, but they would have like these episodes, like these very special episodes.
yeah,
It just creeped me the fuck out. Like they were trying to educate you about these things like kidnapping and drug abuse and eating disorders and drinking and pedophilia
Yeah.
stuff. And dude, like fucking scary. Like I would walk away from watching it and just feeling like, ugh.
yeah,
They have an episode where like there's a child molester who runs a bike shop.
really,
Like he owns like the bike shop.
No
and
shit.
Arnold and his friend Dudley are going in there, and Arnold wants to buy a new bike, and they're going to make payments on this bike or some shit like that. But however, the kids keep hanging around this fucking bike shop with this old man who
Yeah.
owns the bike shop, and he's like, "Here, let me take you in the back and show you." And he's got like this fucking little paradise of a fucking apartment back there that a kid would love.
yeah,
And he's like basically grooming them, to the point where it's like he tries to assault the other kid, Dudley,
Oh.
But it's fucking creepy, man. Crazy creepy.
But to some extent, you
But
think,
it educated people on
Yeah.
things. Like if you didn't have any frame of reference for that, you're like, fuck, that really goes on. There's an episode where him and the sister, Kimberly, get kidnapped.
really,
And it's really fucking, really gritty, scary shit.
Hmm.
And you're like, man, I was just fucking waiting for this kid to be like, what you talking about, Willis? And now he's like getting fucking kidnapped in the middle of New York and nobody can find him. Like, really fucking eerie type
Wow.
episodes. It was dark, man. It was a dark fucking show sometimes, man. Scary shit.
yeah.
But I don't feel like there's too much of that now. Like, I don't know. But then again, I don't watch everything, so.
Dude, all right, so listen, as a kid growing up, I watched Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Will Smith fan.
Are
I
you?
still, even now.
When
even
I
now.
was, little fun fact for you, not that it fucking matters, but the guy in the beginning of the show who picks Will Smith up and spins him around,
Yeah.
he lived across the street from me in Philadelphia.
Really?
Yeah, big, tall, black dude. And he was like the quietest guy on the planet. He didn't fuck with nobody.
Really?
He just minded his own business and say
He's
shit
just
to
a
anybody.
B-rate actor, and he was like, yeah, man, I'll do that.
He was a really cool guy, though. Nice guy. But yeah, big as fuck, though, man. Big as shit. Big motherfucker.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So growing up as a kid, one of my like go-to shows was Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just cool. It was modern, and like me being a white kid from the suburbs, I was like, this is something I don't see. So like I was like intrigued. I was like, I want to watch this and see. And I feel like the original Fresh Prince with Will Smith and Uncle Phil and like all these characters, there was a lot of lighthearted stuff, but there was still life lessons in there.
Yeah,
And-
I think
and-
I've seen one where like his father comes back and all that stuff.
Dude,
and
that episode in particular, like,
sad.
broke my fucking heart because I was dealing with my family issues. Like, we lived with my dad, me and my sister, and bad things happened when we were little, and my mom had visitation rights. So, like, there was, like, still, like, this thing of dealing with, like, like, why is my family like this? Why are we a broken family, I guess, And, like, Uncle Phil and his wife, we're trying to illustrate to Will that it's not like this. You don't have to, And in that episode in particular, it was like, this is a comedy, but there's this episode where Will deals with his dad coming back and then gets abandoned again. And at the end of the episode, Will has this whole monologue, which became this very...
Yeah. Why doesn't he want me or whatever?
it
I've seen that.
kind of projected his career at that point. Like, that was really when Hollywood...
People realized like he can actually act.
Yeah. So, like, I recently read his book where he discusses that particular episode, and I kind of was like, yeah, I remember that, man. I remember it very well, and how much it, like, I was fucking crying because I thought, like,
It felt
I
real.
know,
Yeah, it
you
feels
know?
real. Like even like all those like special episodes, they didn't feel very real. They were just kind of like shocking.
Yeah.
Like, what am I watching right now? Kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like this is not what I tuned in to expect to see. I mean, I think a lot of shows like Family Ties did it. Like
Yeah.
they had like things about like one of the Alex's friend dies or whatever, and the whole show is like him doing a monologue about his friend.
yeah.
And that was kind of like very different, and like kind of like to see like somebody's inner feelings about death or whatever. And then like there was another one with diet pills where he was like taking speed to kind of keep studying or some shit. But that seems to be
I remember that.
There's a lot of things. I think they did that on Saved by the Bell. They did a lot of shit.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
where I saw it.
Yeah,
and
but Family Ties did it.
The nerdy girl on Saved by the Bell was munching down
Yeah, like diet pills
to stay
fucking
awake and
stay
study
awake and
for her
right.
SATs or something, and was all
Yeah.
and they had to like tell her and confront her and be like, dude,
It's kind of the same thing that happened on Family Ties. Yeah,
yeah. Saved by the Bell was another one that was like,
yeah. So,
I mean,
that was
but-
like that was a show I didn't watch though. I felt like I was a little too old for Family Ties,
really,
or not Family Ties, for Saved by the Bell.
yeah,
Just because I was like, I get like ingrained in stuff. Like I told you, like I watched Different Strokes until I was probably about 15 years old.
really,
You know, so like I didn't watch anything else. Like I just watched the things that I watched like Roseanne.
yeah. I remember watching Roseanne.
Yeah, but even Roseanne, like they dealt with a lot of like real life issues and stuff like that, but they didn't like hit you over the head with it.
Wasn't the
They did it
daughter
in a-
addicted to drugs on that one? One of them?
Yeah, I think like that didn't come out until later on
Yeah.
in the like when they redid it and made it the Connors or whatever the fuck, which is almost
No.
unwatchable.
I thought on Roseanne.
I don't
at one
remember
point,
that.
one of the daughters. I thought the one daughter that was very cynical. I thought that at some
Darlene?
point. I think so. Yeah.
I don't remember her being
I
on
was-
drugs.
So I'm like a late bloomer.
She
so
liked to smoke the pot. I know that.
maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
maybe.
but I mean that was
back
like
then
a-
there was a lot of propaganda that like
Yeah.
weed is like evil.
No, they didn't paint it as such on Roseanne.
Yeah.
Because there's this great episode where Roseanne smokes some weed that she thinks belongs to the kids. She thinks the weed is Darlene's weed,
It was John Goodman's.
and it was actually their weed from way back in the day or some shit like that. And they smoke it, and they're like, "This isn't Darlene's. This is ours," you know. And they're like, "Oh fuck!" And then they feel bad, and they're like, let's smoke it. So they smoke, like, I guess for the first time in a long time. And it's actually probably the funniest fucking scene in all of Roseanne.
Really?
The funniest. They're in the bathroom, they're fucking paranoid, and they're skitzing, they're laughing. And they do a really good job of it. And fucking, the shower curtain is closed. Like,
Yeah.
so you don't know that somebody's in the tub, but then they pull the shower curtain open, and Aunt Jackie's in the fucking tub all fucking skitzed out. Dude, it's fucking hilarious, man. It was a great scene.
Oh,
It's really
man.
good.
And so when you look at that, like right now, we just reflected on several shows.
Yeah.
What modern shows are doing this?
I don't know, because I don't really watch any TV now.
I mean, I watch shows, but it's like
I'd be interested if people know if it's out there. Let us know, because I don't know. Like, I'm more interested to find out what shows they're not showing now.
Yeah, like I keep thinking like there's shows like so Yellowstone in my eyes picked up as like the modern crime family show. Like
Right.
to me that's what I see Yellowstone as. But
Yellowstone is more like in the vein of like a Sopranos or some shit, right? Like an
some
ongoing
extent, yeah.
saga of like
it's like a modern country take on you know,
a certain culture in that kind of
yeah. And I
seedy
think it's great.
subculture. Yeah,
I think it really
a lot of people like it. I haven't watched it, but a lot of people
think
love
that
it.
you would enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, you may not and I'm not
You
always
might not relate to the culture,
yeah, but it's still the story is so good.
right?
Like, dude, I'm not a cowboy. I'm from the suburbs of Philadelphia. What
Yeah.
the fuck do I know about riding a horse?
Yeah.
You know? But the story is written so well that you can dive into it and love the characters. Beth, the daughter, is hot and
Yeah.
tough and like she's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Really?
Like at one point, and like
I
Kevin,
feel that way about that girl from Ozarks, the little blonde girl with the frizzy hair.
she's another one that was like a firecracker.
Good
So like
Lord.
Beth is like her times 100.
That
dude.
girl could fart in my dinner. She's crazy hot.
Dude, Beth is in the show she's our age, but has like this ridiculous body. She's in you got to watch it from the beginning cuz in the first season, I think at one point she's all fucked up and drunk and just walks out tits naked into the field and starts like just sits in this fucking tub that like it's for the horses to drink the water. So like she just says like I'm taking a fucking bath right here in front of all these fucking cowboys and her dad, Kevin Costner, and her brothers. And she's just like, I'm fucking doing it. Smoking
Yeah.
a cigarette, drinking whiskey, just like.
But that's more like a drama. That's not like a family show.
So
that
that's what
would-
I was getting at is like
Yeah.
these lighthearted comedies. That,
like. Where's
you
the
know,
sitcoms?
Yeah, there is none.
I mean-
Shameless, I think.
Borders on like
Shameless was there.
comedy drama.
When Shameless started, it was great. It was a modern family.
But that's like almost too graphic to be considered like a family sitcom.
Yeah, well, so that's the problem. Is it wasn't a family show. I couldn't let my kids watch
No,
that.
that's what I mean, like a
there's
show that
people
you could
fucking,
watch
they're
with your
doing
kids.
drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so. Where's the middle of the road? Like,
Like the Goldbergs, I guess would be one.
you know what the problem? So the
But
reason I
Goldbergs
mentioned
is just super nostalgic. They don't really touch on anything serious, do they?
so the one thing that I wanted to say was the reason I mentioned Will Smith and Fresh Prince is because now there's a new. It's called Bel Air.
Yeah, where it's a grittier version.
I can't watch it. Like
Yeah.
I can't like, dude. So I asked my
Like
nephew.
Carlton's on coke.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I never watched it, but I've heard that like there's this gritty edge to it. Like this is what it's more reality based kind of storyline for.
Why?
I
Why
don't
do
know.
that?
I guess because
you know?
you can make money off of it.
So like,
People will watch it.
I didn't like. As soon as I heard that they remade it, and then like my nephew was like, "Yeah, but it's not a remake. It's like a different story." And I'm like, "But it's all the same characters with the same names. That's a fucking remake."
Yeah.
And you
It's
remade
like a
it.
reboot, yeah.
You remade it in a shitty way. Like, all right, you made it like more gritty, which to me, like, that's like you fucking robbed it of its charm. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
the reason the Fresh Prince had his catchphrases and the faces Will would make, like, dude, it was pop culture. It was fucking,
Yeah.
you know, like when I think of the '90s, a lot of it is like Fresh Prince for me. That was like
That's
even
your
an
show. Yeah.
introduction
That's like your
to
guilty
hip hop
pleasure
music.
show.
Yeah, man, I
Yeah.
loved it, and like but like now thinking like dude, we watch so many we try to watch a lot of shows and I feel like I don't feel like anything does that.
Yeah.
Like we try to find these comedies. I do like the Canadians. The Canadians make some good.
Letterkenny, you like that?
I like Letterkenny. I like Trailer Park Boys, but that's still not a family show.
I don't like Trailer Park Boys. I think they're like, I think it would be a better show if it was animated all the time.
No, I'm the opposite.
Yeah, you like that it's real actors?
Well, I liked the original episodes before they got some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that seems to be the problem with a lot of stuff. Is like the
Once
moment
it gets a budget,
Snoop Dogg is on their show, I think like.
it loses some of its charm.
Yeah, like, dude, it was better when it was gritty and you guys were filming this with, like, a VHS camera. Like, it wasn't a fucking...
I'm a big fan of Danny McBride.
Danny McBride's great.
I love that. I love his Eastbound and Down show. I love the
Dude.
Vice Principal show.
Oh, my God.
Vice Principal is fucking great.
You know what?
I don't think Vice Principals gets its due because Eastbound and Down was so fucking incredible, and now his new show is fucking amazing.
What's his new show?
The Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, my God,
fucking
dude.
hilarious.
Yeah, but I still think Vice Principal's the first season...
I love it.
Dude, and the guy that was his...
Walton Goggins.
Oh, my fucking God, man.
He's on the Righteous Gemstones. He's fucking great on that, too, dude.
Yeah, but on Vice Principals and their rivalry and like...
And then they become like allies and they end up best friends. And
the episode where they walk into the black woman's house...
And they burn the fucking house down, dude. Dude. For me,
Holy
I watched the first...
shit!
Dude, I watched the first episode of that. I was like, I'm going to watch it because I love Danny McBride. And I watched the first episode and I laughed and I was like, all right, I'll watch it next week. I did not expect it to take the fucking turn that it takes.
Dude,
they
so
go into that
bad.
house and it's like they just start off, they're breaking shit, and he's like so fucking giddy and like, yeah, go ahead, break it. You look at you and all that, and they're fucking around, and then all of a sudden he lights that fucking cigarette and you're like, what the fuck? And he walks over to the curtain. They burn the fucking house down, and then like the reaction back at the school, and he's sitting there and the lady's talking to him about her kid getting bullied, and he's just like looking like, oh fuck, like. And then the fucking principal's coming out of her fucking office like, burn my fucking house down. Dude, it's so fucking funny, dude. Oh my God, what a show. And then I think like right after that, they have that field trip episode.
Yeah.
Where he like interjects himself on the field trip and those kids are fucking and all that shit. Dude, what a fucking show.
Oh my
what a
God,
show. Beginning to end. And the girl that plays the crazy fucking
oh yeah, dude.
She's hilarious. She's hilarious on the Gemstones too. She's out of control.
Yeah.
That bitch is fucking crazy funny.
They're all I think they are like one of the few left that are doing real comedy.
Yeah, man. And they don't care. They do offensive shit.
Oh yeah.
Left and right, man. Like it's so offensive.
I do think that there's gonna be
I think people want that.
I think I think what's going to happen here is Hollywood tried pushing their agenda so hard
that people are going to be like, no.
Now there's going to be a backlash, and you're going to have these little troops of actors and producers and directors and writers.
You're going to make it so not normal to say that stuff that
they're gonna
somebody's
rebel.
gonna say it, and people are gonna be like, "Yes, thank God, somebody finally said something stupid like that."
Dude, I'm telling you,
I don't think it's a reflection on how people feel. Like, I don't watch somebody say like something prejudiced and make a joke and then laugh at it and then feel like, "Oh, I must be prejudiced or I'm a racist or some shit because I laughed at that." That's not how it is.
You can deny reality, but reality is always going to be
reality.
There,
yeah,
and like. You can try to write it out of existence, but it's here, and you either. And I'm not saying that like we should just accept that like people are racist pieces of shit. I'm not saying that.
But it's okay to laugh at shit,
dude. I'm saying then. So once upon a time,
don't not acknowledge it.
Once upon a time, I belong to a couple Facebook groups. One is this group of comedians in the Philadelphia area, and I would go in there and ask them questions. So. I seriously asked a question one time, and I said, "Listen, is there any places that do perhaps more conservative type comedy You know, like, because I feel like, and I was trying to like engage in an intellectual conversation, you know, and like people like instantly ran their fucking mouths and started talking shit, and they're like, that's fucking stupid. Of course there's nothing like that. The conservatives have no fucking sense of humor, and like, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I think that there is a vacuum. I think that there is a need. Dude, conservative people do have a sense of humor. They just don't laugh at the jokes that you laugh at.
Right.
And I think that, and I'm not even encouraging one or the other. I'm seeing this as a business opportunity of like, what if, like back in the day, there was the blue collar comedy, and like people loved it. People like I didn't care particularly about a lot of the comedians. I didn't think Jeff Foxworthy was very funny.
I don't care for Jeff Foxworthy, as you might be a redneck shit.
Dude, I
don't care for Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
I think the only funny guy was that dude that drank through his entire set or whatever.
He was pretty great.
Yeah, he's pretty fucking funny.
Lewis Black or
no, not Lewis Black. The guy with the Ron something.
Oh,
I think his name's Ron. Ron White.
Ron White.
Is that him? Yeah, Ron White.
Funny fucking guy.
Yeah, pretty funny. And like nice deadpan kind of old school comedian.
Yeah.
Says things. And he's got a gimmick. Like I like that old school kind of thing with the gimmick. Like he's drinking a drink through the whole fucking thing. Like, you know.
So I thought that was really what I was trying to engage with these comedians in the Philadelphia area about like what if you told jokes about this? Do you think that there's an audience for that? I think we live in such a blue-collar environment that people want to hear blue-collar jokes, you know? And maybe sometimes it is a little... I think that I'm definitely one of these guys. If you try to tell me this, like, neutral, everything's equal, perfect, lighthearted joke, I kind of walk the fuck away. Like, that was dumb.
It was lame.
I don't care.
It's lame.
Like, there's no balls to this conversation, you know? Like... And I think that that's an important part of comedy is like pushing the limits a little, or even poking.
Yeah, you find the line and you cross it.
Yeah,
that's
sometimes.
what it is.
But right now, I feel like in our society, it's like, dude, you can't do that at all. It's like they will.
What's the point?
So I do think that there's going to be a revival of artistic, creative people.
I think maybe you need this right now.
Yeah.
To be stifled, and then once somebody says, all right, enough of this bullshit. Yeah. We're just going to do our thing. And it's going to be fucking awesome again. You know what I mean?
I think so. Even music-wise or like everything.
I mean, look at like the 80s with music, you know? Like everything was that fucking stupid hair metal shit. And, you know, it got so, like, goofy. Like every band looked the same. You had these hair metal guys with their hair teased and they looked fucking corny.
Yeah.
And they just looked silly. Like,
it was eccentric. It was eccentric.
Yeah, but it didn't feel rebellious. It felt like...
So I was listening to a comedian the other day, and he brought up the fact that he was like lightheartedly joking about the gay community, and he was like, "Listen, guys, you did it. You're here.
Yeah.
You can fucking get married. You can go on land together. You can do anything you want. You can travel. Nobody's harass
gonna give you shit. Can we go back there?
So the guy says, it's kind of fucking boring, ain't it? Like, don't you think maybe it was a little more fun when it was illegal and you had to like hide in a fucking alley and butt fuck each other? Like,
I bet you there's like this level of pride for like somebody who survived being gay in the like early 80s.
Yeah, dude.
I bet you like those gay guys that are still around.
They're probably resentful. Like, yo, dude, we used to have to hide in the back of fucking porn theaters.
We used to go to bathhouses to have orgies and... You know, we were really afraid of AIDS. Like, you know, like there was like, you know, they used to call that shit GRID.
Really?
Know?
Is that for real?
Yeah, they used to call AIDS when it first came out because they thought it was just a gay thing.
Oh, really?
So it was GRID, gay-related immunodeficiency.
Damn, I never even knew that.
Yeah, man, in the early 80s or whatever, when it first became a thing, they just thought this is just affecting the gay community.
Yeah.
It must be something about gay sex that's causing this fucking epidemic. And then they started to realize that this is about blood, and you got people with blood transfusions that are getting it. And then, you know, it kind of became a thing that kind of spilled into, you know, and then, you know, because they didn't know shit about it back then. You know? They didn't know shit. We weren't educated enough to know anything about it. So
anytime a big virus like that comes along, it scares the shit out of the general population. And then, of course,
I mean,
fear,
it is scary.
I don't think it is anymore. I think
not like it was. There's people that are living with it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
If they got the proper medical care or whatever, the proper medication, they could live a full life.
Even that
Yeah.
is kind of insane.
I watched
mean,
a whole documentary about steroids where this guy had like 2 T cells left. He had AIDS and he had like 2 T cells left. And he got on anabolic steroids and it boosted his fucking T cell count up to like 300.
Yeah.
Crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know what that means, but it sounds...
well, that's what your T cells are, what fights off infection in your body.
Oh.
So, that's what AIDS is. AIDS is kind of like you have it, your T cell count starts to diminish to the point that you have no immunity to anything and you could die of like a fucking infection that would only affect like a cat.
So I
You know
had
what
an
I mean?
uncle, Uncle Dennis, that did pass away from bird tuberculosis.
Wow.
And he had AIDS, and so like
That's what I mean. Like
So
something
that
that
was-
would not affect somebody with a normal immune system.
right,
They would get something like that and it could kill them.
yeah. So I remember that was my dad had to explain to me because I was probably preteen, and I did a book report on him, and I like wrote this whole thing up about how AIDS was affecting our culture and population, and even the misconception that he was a gay guy,
Right.
but that's not really why he contracted it. It's just it was something that happened, and nobody really knew how it spread. Like you
Right.
said, it really was about the blood, and
Yeah.
you
My father got a blood transfusion when I was 3 in 1983. He had bypass surgery
yeah,
and he got a blood transfusion. And he's lucky. He's lucky he didn't end up with something,
Yeah,
Because that was
yeah.
that was a big way to get it,
yeah.
Crazy,
Interesting.
man.
Yeah.
Scary.
Where were we? We got totally off topic.
Well, we were
of
talking
cartoons
about
and TV shows.
we were talking about how the gay people are like, aren't you bored now that you
Oh
got everything you wanted?
yeah. The comedian
Yeah.
said that. The
So-
comedian was
yeah.
so anyway. That's the and that the reason I mentioned that comedian in that conversation is because there's a certain amount of taboo and fun when people don't like you and they say offensive shit about you. Like I think you should have the same rights, but I do think that if you make it so neutral and equal, and everybody's walking around happy and cheerful. First of all,
They're not walking around happy and cheerful. They're walking on eggshells
yeah,
to
well,
try
that's
to not offend anybody.
so. I believe in the chaos theory of like life will find a way. You need chaos in order to create, and there's always going to be disruptors. So like even when you look at like school shootings and stuff like that, I often think to myself, this is a way for the culture to like revitalize itself and change morals. I think life is very cyclical, and I think it finds a way to teach. It teaches us. We don't even know it. We think that we're in control. You're not in control of shit, dude. Life, nature, the laws of nature are still here very much in effect. And the fact that us humans often disregard ourselves as not being a part of nature, dude,
Yeah.
watch a fucking hurricane come through your neighborhood.
Yeah.
You're going to learn real quick how part of nature you are.
Yep.
You
You're not
know?
in control of anything.
Yeah, and it's, like, so like to me, I often think to myself that it always tries to balance itself out. At the end of the day, like we can do this dance right now, and it sucks because we're all uncomfortable and we all constantly feel like we need to justify what we just said or explain
Edit ourselves and like, look, I
Yeah.
just want you to understand where that came from.
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to offend you. I was just saying this because blah. And it's like you're putting more work into something.
I think it's going to smooth out, though. I
Yeah.
think in 10 years, we're going to look back and go, Jesus Christ, look how fucking uncomfortable that moment was, So,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just keep thinking. But anyway, so I went and watched cartoons with my kids, and it was fun. It was fun because I did find the episode of Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy, and, dude, they loved it.
Yeah.
So what happens is Stimpy he sees that Ren is
Excuse me.
unhappy.
Good Lord.
Yeah, bless you. Bless you.
That grid.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
That's what we're going to name this episode.
No,
The Grid.
I was thinking when we said we were going to talk about cartoons, I was like, let's call it Real American Weirdo, but then then we came up with the booger thing, and now we got the grid.
Dude,
thing.
there's 9 million. Listen, we can call it anything. I'm telling you what, man. I hope that I noticed this morning. I was like, damn, John hasn't been sending me any like images or.
Dude, my whole.
You've been working on life.
Stress, dude. Stress.
Yeah, life.
Yeah.
So you should watch Ren and Stimpy Happy Joy. So what happens is I'll be Stimpy for you, okay? Stimpy sees that Ren is not happy. And Stimpy says, Ren, you're not happy. I'm going to invent a machine that makes you happy. And so he makes this helmet thing that looks like a old school John Lombardi or Vince Lombardi fucking
like a football helmet.
Football helmet.
Yeah.
With these antennas that stick out of his fucking ears, and he says he slams it down on fucking Ren's head, and Ren's like, Stimpy, what are you doing? And he's got this fucking helmet strapped to his head, and instantly Stimpy's over here with this remote control with a big-ass dial on it, and he's like, Ren, I'm going to make you happy. And he starts spinning this dial, and you see Ren's little teeth fucking, his grin, like, is forcibly being, like, pushed, like, ripped into a grin, and he's just like, you know, you could see the restraint. I love the cartoon because it was so visual. You could always... I loved Ren and Stimpy because, like...
The expression.
There was always so much energy in the way they illustrated things and illuminated even silly shit. So anyway, this helmet is making Ren smile. It's
against
forcibly
his will. Right.
Against his will, and you can see, and they illustrate his eyes, like his eyes are like, no, I don't want to fucking do this.
Yeah, right.
But his fucking mouth is like, no, you're gonna fucking smile. So then Stimpy's walking around, and Ren now looks like a droid, where he's like being controlled by Stimpy in this bullshit remote. So anyway, the show continues, and Ren finally like sees a hammer laying on a table, and like he's like, yeah, I'm happy, you know, I'm so happy, and he grabs his fucking hammer and starts slamming the top of his fucking skull, smashing this fucking helmet. And then this is when the song comes on, happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy. And he's smashing the fucking shit out of his own brain, you know? So my kids are watching this fucking violent show. And I'm like in love. I'm like, dude, I'm like 13 all over again. This is fucking great. And my kids are laughing their asses off. And like, I don't know. All I'm saying is that I don't think my kids are going to go smash each other in the fucking head with a hammer right now. I think that they were very entertained.
Yeah.
We all laughed about it. I still, like, when I go see them later on when we finish this up, I'll go upstairs and I'll start singing Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy.
And they're going to
laugh their fucking asses off.
But you know what, like, I think if you put it in that context, you put, like, the violence in that context of, like, somebody smashing their head with a hammer like that, I think somebody would be like, that looks like it would probably fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Because all I do is I can go on Instagram right now, start scrolling through the fucking reels, and it's like people that are too dumb to realize that what they're about to do is going to hurt them.
Oh, yeah.
Like a guy doing a backflip in the middle of the street, and he lands on his ass, and then some car comes along and fucking smashes him. Or like these big girls that are like on these waterfalls, on these rock formations.
Oh,
and they're
yeah,
just
I've seen that
fucking
one.
flying down, and like, you know, and they're, scraping their back all the way down. Like, what the fuck, man?
I saw a TikTok of this guy that for some fucking reason decides he's going to jump off this little wall onto a trampoline holding a bunch of fucking weights, like a barbell with a bunch of weights.
Fuck?
I do enjoy the current trend of this song, "Dumb Ways to Fucking Die," or some jingle like that, and then they'll freeze it like right before the barbell turns sideways like a fucking javelin, and it's going to hit this guy in his fucking chest.
Yeah.
You know, and you see him falling backwards onto the trampoline, and the barbell's lined up perfectly with his chest. And they'll freeze it right there. They won't show you the violent act,
Yeah.
but you think to yourself, this is like the modern version of Looney Tunes. Like, yes, you're right. This is a dumb motherfucker that did something.
Yeah.
Like, where did you think this was going to...
And I think, like, people do it. They're like, look, if I can pull it off, you know, I'll get all these views. If I don't pull it off, I'll still get all these fucking views. I might get more if I don't pull it off. Like, it's just... I don't get the fucking mentality. I can't stand that the internet has done this to us. Like...
It's sad.
Yeah.
We've all become cartoons ourselves.
Yeah.
I'll admit that there's been this...
I said yeah a lot in the last 10 minutes. I fucking can't stand when I do that.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Let's just do it right now for 5 minutes straight.
know.
Yeah.
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 Dude, I get, like, well, you'll be talking and I don't even catch myself doing it. I'm like, motherfucker.
But that's how we talk.
I know.
All right, let's stay on topic. So when I started Yardbird Tuna and I was doing this social media bullshit, and I still am, there's been times where I thought, what can I do to catapult my views?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, I don't want to do the jackass routine.
You're going to have to jump in a fucking wood chipper.
Yeah, man.
Or some shit, you know?
I don't want to physically hurt myself so that the rest of the general idiot population
We'll tune in.
to fucking, like, oh, some guy with a car just had to ramp it off a fucking loading dock and smash the shit out
He
of it.
just smashed his hand with a hammer or some
Yeah,
shit
like,
in the
dude,
shop.
I'm not doing that. Like, that's how fucking insane. But that's also a great measure of how our entertainment is lacking.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the fact that Jackass is popular, but our cartoons have scaled down so much, what does that say? You went from watching fake violence to real violence,
Yeah.
and yet somehow you still think that we're traveling the correct course.
You know what I fucking hate more than anything in the world? Slap fights. I think this is the dumbest fucking sport ever created.
Well, like with the big Russian dudes that
Where the
slap the
dudes
shit
that
out of each
stand
other?
across the street, across from each other, fucking measure up and
Yeah.
then crack each other as hard as they fucking can.
I mean, I admittedly watch it sometimes
Yeah,
because
but I'm saying
entertaining.
it's entertaining, but like I seen a guy's whole fucking head is like swollen.
Yeah.
You know, like this can't like how is this like a sport?
It's like modern boxing. You know what? You know what happens? And this comes back to my theory of cycles. Boxing was a great sport for a long time.
Boxing, there's a technique and it's a sport. You know what I mean?
It is, but
I mean, it's a violent sport. It's not the smartest sport.
But think about any modern sport. Boxing, football.
Football's a violent sport.
You know, any one of these are really just regurgitations of modern gladiators, right? The problem is money gets involved. And then now that there's a lot of money involved, the insurance companies and the lawyers get involved because now that we know that there's this huge reservoir of money, we can sue for damage. This is the way the world works. And I know because I'm particularly on construction side of like the adult world. This is a part of my job, is like measuring the liability, you know? So even on a sports level, though, you can still see the same pattern. It's the same pattern. There's money. We know that there's a pool of money sitting right there. And there are going to be people that are going to try to capitalize on that money because the problem is we have a sue culture, which I think stems a large part of our problem as a society and why we lack morals. This whole thing started with that cup from McDonald's of coffee. I sincerely believe that. Maybe not that particular case,
Right.
but all of this stems from this theory that I am not responsible. You are. I'm going to take your money because you owe me now. There's no responsibility involved here. In anything, in any fucking part of our culture, I'm not responsible.
I think that's why the compensation for like a football player is what it is, though.
I agree.
Because
If
you're
you
just basically running at each other like fucking trains all day long.
like the Joker said on Batman, nobody blinks an eye when
Yeah.
a bunch of soldiers get killed in battle because that's part of the plan.
Right.
And I agree with that part of the statement that, like, if you sign a contract with the Eagles that you're going to go be a linebacker and mow down fucking humans for a living, and we're going to pay you millions, fucking millions to do this, that is the contract. Your body is being used as a tool to hurt other fucking humans. So I don't agree that you should sue.
Right.
Oh, I got fucking neck damage and brain damage and this
you
and
see
that.
like all these guys, like, you know, with the
Dude,
ALS
that's the
and all
job,
that stuff, you know, and you're like, oh, I wonder why ALS always affects all these athletes and stuff. I don't know. Did we already talk about this on one of the episodes?
No, but I'll be honest. I'm a little insensitive because I think, fuck you. You know how many soldiers, how many mechanics? I have arthritis.
Right.
What am I supposed to sue my employer? Hey, I can't believe you made me turn wrenches.
Well, yeah,
my fucking hands hurt, you know?
I think that they're more aware of it now. And, I mean, like, you can't do that to your body day in and day out and expect it to work forever. You know, you just can't do it.
I think that it's silly to think that you're going to live forever, first of all. You're going to deteriorate your body one way or another.
But you're going to accelerate it at an alarming pace.
Sure.
If you're going to practice every day and mowing motherfuckers down and running into each other head first.
But you're also getting paid millions to do it.
But that's why you're getting paid ridiculous amounts of money to do it. So when all is said and done, your career's over.
Yeah.
And you've spent all your money on bullshit.
Yeah.
And
you have
wonder,
6 Lamborghinis.
Yeah, why don't I have any money left?
Yeah.
And why am I dying of ALS? Well, you're dying of ALS because you jarred your brain so much that your brain released toxins into your fucking body through your spinal cord, and now your body's shutting down because of it. That's what ALS is.
And like, I know I sound like an insensitive prick saying that, but the deal is, I will very simply say, I would trade my 20 years as a mechanic,
right,
that I have no fucking real savings or money from. I would trade that for 1 or 2 seasons
in the NFL.
Yeah. You pay me $2 million fucking dollars for 2 seasons, 2 years.
I'll run motherfuckers over.
I will
left and right.
fucking mow down a 7-foot, 350-pound fucking man.
Yep.
I'll do it all season long. I will eat that motherfucker alive.
Just give me the fucking few $1 billion or millions of dollars or whatever.
If anybody from the NFL is listening and wants to test this theory, I'm telling you right now, I
don't
fucking
understand.
eat people alive.
I had this conversation with a cousin one time as to why, like, certain entertainers, like, why do these, like, children entertainers get paid so much? And he was like, well, you have to think, like, they can't go bowling without getting mobbed. So,
fuck that. Yeah, they can.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like he had all these theories as to why they get paid so much and, like, how different your life changes and stuff like that. Okay, well, if that's the case, don't fucking do it. You know what I mean?
So this is my thing. This is my take on employment, okay? Because I have a very controversial take on employment. Everybody works.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. The kids in Chester that sell drugs on the corner are working. It's a job. Every one of us makes a mental contract of what we find acceptable for the amount of money that we want for the labor we're willing to trade for. I don't judge anybody.
How they earn.
A stripper, prostitutes, anybody. I am not here to judge you. You mentally decided what you believe your worth is and what you're willing to accept to do that job. Do I think that it's brutal and I think that you might get taken advantage of in your career of choice? Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's definitely... But that's not for me to decide whether you got treated fair or not. I think you have to fight that battle on your own, and I believe in personal responsibility of, like, dude, if you're, you know, like, if you think that you're being mistreated, it's up to you to take that battle, you know, to fight it out. So what I'm getting at is when some celebrity, when Eminem complains that, like, I can't believe, you know, that now that I'm famous, I can't do regular shit no more. When you're sitting in your $6 million fucking mansion, I really think you should shut the fuck up right now because I'm struggling to pay the mortgage on this little $200,000 house of mine.
Yeah.
You know, like, maybe...
You don't have it so bad. But,
maybe there's a little perspective here that you're not realizing, you know? Right. Remember when you came from a trailer park and you were rapping about the 8 Mile?
I know a lot of people love this guy.
Yeah.
I can't stand him.
his whole career is crying. You know, like
it's like, but also, I mean, I think I seen a documentary one time about like how like he had to rap to make money or some shit like that. Like you couldn't get a job, you got a kid and you couldn't find it. Like I don't understand these people that just can't find work.
I respect the fact that he wanted to be a rapper.
No,
I don't
that's
care.
a dream that you
I don't
pursue,
care
but it's not the
what
only
he
way you can
says.
survive.
Yeah, I mean he's full of shit.
Yeah.
I mean even in the movie they portray like, listen, I understand. Like you grew up in Detroit, your options were to go work in a fucking factory building cars. It was the same here,
Right.
dude. I was very depressed. The fact that like
You were
I
sanding
thought I
cars,
was-
right?
yeah, I thought I was going to be this great artist, and it turned out no, you're not.
Right.
And then like okay, staying here and sand this fucking
Well,
car.
it's not that you're not.
you know?
wouldn't be a great artist. You just wouldn't make money being a great
well,
artist.
so that's the problem in
Yeah,
our
so
modern
how
society.
you
We
measure
measure
success
on
by how much
financial
money you have.
wealth. Yeah. So like to me, when you look at these guys, anybody, it's a unspoken contract. What are you willing to accept? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I often think to myself, what are you willing to accept? Do you think we all joke on the internet about like if you see me on Fans Only, just turn a fucking eye. I'm trying to make some money. But there are people that really make
They're
that
making,
decision.
yeah, there's people that are paying their rent with the OnlyFans.
Dude, I'll tell you an honest truth. There have been times, and I know people that do Fans Only. I do know like a few people that have done
Yeah.
accounts on there and made a lot of money, like
Right.
unbelievable amount of money. And I've asked them about it, and they were like, "Let me tell you something. Do you know who makes more money than anybody? Fucking guys that jerk off for the gay dudes. That's like not even a fucking like they're like that's like a real thing. They're like you don't have to be gay. You could get on there
And
with
just
your
jerk
little
off.
webcam
Yeah.
and make little videos and wear little outfits and like set up some lighting and like
You don't
use
even have
sex
to,
toys.
Yeah, you
like
don't have to
just
be with anybody else. You
just jerk
yeah.
off for fucking people on the internet.
Wow.
And like you don't even have to know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to know that it's a gay guy over there watching you. It's
You're just
so
going to collect your money for jerking
it's so
off.
disconnected. And dude, let's be honest. Like when you hear that, when somebody's sitting there telling you that in your ear, you start measuring the scales.
Mm-hmm.
Really, like you're saying $10,000 a week.
Right.
A
Or I can go to
week?
work for 40 hours and bring home $750.
$10,000 a week?
Yeah. To do something.
That's what I make a month.
Right.
A week?
It's wild.
You know, a week. One fucking week. I could jerk off 5 times a week.
You're going to jerk off anyway.
I'm going to jerk off anyway. Yardbird Tuna. Fansonly.com.
Dude. But that's another attitude that people have like about like sex work, right?
Yeah.
Like in my opinion, you know, we're all built different, right?
Yeah.
We all look a certain way. We all like to be a beautiful woman or to be a great looking man,
Yeah.
you know. We're not all blessed
Sure.
in that.
I'm not Brad Pitt.
Yeah, exactly. So like there's a lot of women out there that don't look great. But there's a lot of women that, and even like women that are gorgeous or whatever, they might not be like.
But you know what's crazy about sexuality is that
It varies.
There is-
yeah.
there
There's
is
a wild spectrum.
as my dad says about cars, there's an ass for every seat.
Yeah.
And like, dude, you're like me. I'm a short, little, stocky Irish guy with a beard, and
There's broads out there that love it.
there are chicks that are like, dude, I want to rub. There's gay guys that are
Yeah.
like, that fucking guy, I would let him butt
But
fuck me all
I guess
day
like
long.
what I'm getting at here is like, if I'm a fucking mason guy, like a masonry guy, and I gotta hire people to lay brick for me or some shit,
Yeah,
I'm gonna hire guys that look like they can lay brick.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So if your body dictates that I can make money having sex,
yeah.
who's to say you can't do that? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
well,
Not that I'm agreeing with it. I don't want it for my kids. I don't, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to partake in it.
isn't that
You know,
interesting?
Yeah.
So I'm very open-minded about that, but then I often have to ask myself, Remember the famous actor? He was on The Matrix. He was the black guy with the bald head.
Lawrence Fishburne?
Lawrence Fishburne's daughter
Oh, yeah?
started doing pornography. And you think to yourself, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I have a little girl upstairs. Even my son, which that's another weird bias in our culture. Like, if your son did it, it's probably not as bad, right?
Yeah.
But if your daughter did it,
Yeah.
it would break your heart.
I mean, how many times have you heard about, like, these, like a male teacher that fucks around with a student and you want to chop his fucking head off?
Yeah.
And then you hear about, like, these female teachers that have messed
And then
around
you
with a
chuckle.
young dude, and you're like, these lucky little motherfuckers.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but it's just as
And you look
damaging.
at the, and
it
you
really
know what?
is
As
just
a
as
man,
damaging.
we look at the teacher and we're like, well, she is kind of hot. Dude, good for
Right.
him. Good
But
for him.
the truth
you know?
is, it's really damaging to
Yeah.
that kid, regardless
Yeah,
if you're a man or a woman. Like, there's a level of fucking,
yeah.
you know.
Interesting.
But that's how people think, man. There's like this weird double standard that we have in our minds where it's like, you know, we can justify one thing, we can't justify the other. But like, yeah, like,
Would
you
I
know,
be-
if
what-
I found out that like my son was working in porno or something, like, man, you little fucking stud. Not that I don't think I
Well,
would
what
really
if he
feel
was
that way.
jerking off for gay guys? You know, like
I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know about it.
you wouldn't be supportive if he was bringing home $10,000 a week.
I don't know.
Dude, what if he bought you a fucking house like overlooking like Atlantic City or
I
fucking
don't
Wildwood?
know.
Like,
I don't know, man.
You know, what if you, Dad? You know, you took great care of me, man. Here's this fucking house on the side of a mountain. You know, like
You know how I got
here's
this,
a
Dad?
condo in Philly. I jerked off for the gay guys, man. It overlooks the neighborhood. All my customers.
Yeah, I think there's that standard. Like, I think we almost feel like women have to be better than men, and
Yeah.
that, as far as their morals go and stuff like that.
I mean, I understand the blight of the feminist movement because of that. That is where it all stems from. Feminism, you know, is that like there is this standard
Right.
that we hold women to, but even that, I always said, I think there's a certain portion of feminism that is full of shit, because I personally believe that women have always had control. I think even back
it's
to the
important.
1600s or before, if a woman laid the law down and said, listen, motherfucker, you're not getting the keys to the Golden Gate until you do what the
Yeah.
fuck I just said, that
Yeah.
dude will... The Helen of Troy is real.
Like,
dude,
I think the
you know-
leading cause of death for women in this country, like outside of natural causes, is a man. You know what I mean? To some
Really?
extent, yeah. To some extent, like
They kill him?
I think like as far as like I don't know. I think like there's plenty of guys out there that are a detriment to the women in their lives, and then I think there's plenty of. But I think what you say is true. I think there's a lot of guys out there who are just doing what they need to do because their old ladies telling them to.
Well,
Yeah.
in our modern culture, I did notice, and it's funny because I talked to my nephew yesterday, and he was joking around, but I'm a firm believer that when you joke about something, there's a certain amount of truth to it, and he had this girl with him. He was here visiting me and my wife, and he had this girl with him, and he's doing like this cool guy bullshit of like, you know, she's not that important to me. You're a replacement. He said this openly in front of all of us.
Yeah.
I was kind of, even me as a man, I was kind of like put off, like, bro, that is fucking cold, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's not cool at all. Like, and I broke his balls. But maybe it's because I'm older and more mature at this point, and I think to myself, and I told him, I said, let me tell you something. You want to know about a real fucking gangster? A real gangster, like, stands by his woman and don't let nobody talk shit, and you don't belittle her in public.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, whether this chick is your girlfriend or somebody that you're just messing with, either way, you kind of look like a dickhead right now in front of me. Like, I'm not really impressed with this, like, you know, I'm going to belittle this chick that I just met half a fucking second ago.
Right.
You know, like, that's not cool to me, you know? So, they're in our modern society, and it's funny because black men get their balls broken about this. Like, black men, they say that black men are very independent and don't want to stick by their woman. But, dude, I know many fucking millions of fucking white guys that are just as bad.
Oh, yeah.
So it's bullshit. It's not black guys. It's fucking modern men or boys or fucking 20-year-old dipshits that have this theory of like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna fuck around. I'm gonna have 15 girlfriends. I'm gonna.
Who the fuck wants 15 girlfriends?
Holy shit, that sounds so stressful,
Yeah,
dude.
man. Sounds
You know,
brutal.
you got to remember every fucking story that you told to every one of them and keep it all in.
Yeah.
Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I have a hard enough time hiding a new car that I bought for my wife. Like,
Mary.
I don't want to have 2 fucking wives that I gotta. And the Mormons having multiple wives. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I always think like, as long as they're, like, so polygamy. I always think about polygamists, and I'm like, bro, if you think you can handle more than one wife, some Muslims do it, and the Mormons do it sometimes. Dude, if you think you can handle more than one fucking woman, and you're gonna provide for all of them, kudos to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with it as long as they're over 18. When you start fucking around with children, then I think you deserve a bullet.
Yeah.
You know? But you wanna pick up a couple wives, they're gonna fucking fight. They're gonna hate each other. They're gonna cycle together. You're gonna have a fucking little hen house full of fucking women that are fucking I did the dishes the other day. I'm not fucking cooking today. Fucking fuck you, dude. Fuck you. I'm gonna give you all three of you a house, and you live in there, and I'm gonna go live over here in this fucking condo. Like, these guys are out of their fucking minds. They're the ones that everybody gets mad about. The feminists get real upset about them guys. I don't know. I
don't
think
know.
they're fucking crazy.
I don't have a whole lot of like views on feminists. I'm just trying to convey the point of like, like
You just gonna let me go on a tangent here
No,
and say a bunch of stupid shit?
Like, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get any more trouble with women than I'm already in.
Yeah.
So, I just think like you were saying, you know, if my son can make $10,000 jerking off for gay dudes, and you know, my daughter could. I don't want my daughter doing it. I don't want my son doing it either. But I think about.
Do you think it's dishonest work, even if it wasn't your children?
Man, I think it's hard fucking work. What, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, listen.
But that's what I mean by the mental contract.
In porn, all right? In porn, I think my favorite porn star ever would have to be Nina Hartley.
Yeah.
Nina Hartley's a smart chick.
Yeah.
She's not a dummy.
Yeah.
She's a smart girl. Smart, like, and has been at it for fucking 30 years, whatever.
Really?
She's still doing it.
Really?
She still looks great.
Yeah.
Like, she still looks good.
Let's look her up.
Nina Hartley's gorgeous to this day.
I probably seen. I watch porn. I ain't gonna fucking lie.
Yeah, but I'm saying she probably could have made a living doing anything else, but she probably couldn't have made the living that she does with that body, you know, that she does in porn. But you know what? Nina Hartley's somebody's daughter, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, man. I think it takes a special kind of person to be able to be that comfortable with that line of work. To just,
oh yeah, I've seen.
She's
this
beautiful.
chick.
She's beautiful to this day.
She's still, and dude, she is definitely. If this chick was like, dude, if this chick came around here and I wasn't with my wife and this chick flirted with me,
It's over, dude. What are you kidding me?
I'd fuck her brains out, dude.
She's crazy hot.
But I got a weird thing. Like I go through cycles with porn. Like dude, sometimes I want like a hot older white woman. Like sometimes I want like a fucking hood ass black chick. Sometimes, dude, with my porn, I rotate, man.
Dude, my keywords in my searches
Dude,
are
and nobody
fucked up.
nobody will ever fucking understand me if they looked up
No.
like all the shit that I've ever Googled, you know? I've watched trannies bang chicks.
Did ya?
I'm like,
Nah,
I
I
don't know
never
why.
have.
I definitely was like, I don't know what's happening right now. It's almost like lesbians, but it's not really. But there's definitely a dick going inside of her, and I'm okay with that because I like watching
I'm not
a
a big
dick going
fan of
inside her.
I'm not a big fan of lesbian porn
Really?
because
Yeah.
I can't relate to
It's
it.
kind of boring.
Yeah, I can't relate. I mean,
know?
I think if it's hot, it's hot, and if they're really into it, it's sexy.
Depends on. So I definitely have certain porn stars that I used to. I love Gianna Michaels.
I don't
Dude,
think I
Gianna
know her.
Michaels was like a early 2000s porn star, and she had like these giant,
You like them
natural,
big boobs.
giant
Yeah.
natural tits. But she was also very. She reminded me of a Delco chick. Maybe that's
Really?
why I was so turned. So she was kind of a brunette. She was very pale. She had like these fucking blue eyes. Built like a brick shithouse.
Yeah.
But also was snarky and sarcastic and like, You could like in the video.
There's a new chick who's like snarky and sarcastic and like real playful.
Yeah.
In her shit. And I was like, I don't know new porn stars. Like all my porn stars are like the old ones from like the 80s and 90s. Like
so
they're the only
funny.
ones.
You're
They're the
so
ones I watch.
nostalgic, dude.
I am, dude. I'm totally nostalgic.
Fuck
even
that,
when it comes
man.
to porn.
I like 4K HD. Like I'm like,
Nah,
dude, really?
dude.
I can
I
see
like-
the pimple next to her butthole.
I like the old shit, and I know who the old porn stars chicks are. Like I know like Melanie Moore and fucking Nina Hartley and Asia Carrera. Like those are the ones I know. Kylie
I know that.
Ireland.
So there's a documentary about that girl, Asia Carrera, I think.
She's a member of Mensa. Smart woman, man.
Mensa? What's
yeah,
that?
Mensa's like a elite level of like people with a high IQ or
oh,
some shit
I
like
heard
that.
about
yeah.
this. Yeah.
She's a member of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But
Well, I think that anybody. So I met a porn star. I met Joanna Angel.
yeah.
When I was in film school, I had to do an internship with a local company. So I did with this company that I'm not sure if they're around anymore, but they were back then in the early 2000s. They were called Backseat Conceptions,
Oh yeah.
which already sounds like a porn. You know,
Right.
it already sounds. But the deal was they weren't allowed to. We weren't allowed to intern with porn companies because they didn't want us doing that. But I did anyway. I didn't mean to. I didn't know they were the only ones that accepted me. So I was like, all right. So it was this little studio apartment over there in like Fishtown. And I would go there, and these dudes claimed that they're like, oh, we do like commercials and like, internet documentaries and bullshit like that. And like, okay, that's fine. And then like as soon as I got there, I did do a commercial for Sailor Jerry whiskey.
Okay.
And I made this stop motion animation of a deck of playing cards falling on a table and kind of fanning out, and like it was pretty neat. It was cool. I never got any credit for it.
Right.
They were like, "Oh, that's great, cool. I really appreciate you making that. Fuck you," you know. Like, all right, thanks, man. And then I saw it on TV, and I was like, "Yeah, I fucking made that," you know.
That's awesome.
But yeah, really. So that's been my whole career with social media. There was a famous dude from Philly called the Philly Offensive.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
I'm in one of his videos that got like 10 million fucking views.
Oh, yeah?
He never tagged me in it, never did nothing.
Wow.
He like specifically asked me to meet him at a Walmart in South Philly, and we were going to act out this whole thing where I pretended like I was cutting in line, and he yells at me, and like it was all staged. It was all part of the
Right.
fun. But my deal was I told him, all right, I'm Yardbird Tuna, and you got to tag me in it. Never did.
Never did it.
Never once,
Wow.
you know? And then I think he sold a lot of his content for like dirt cheap to like, some of his stuff was on Tosh.0 and like, and you're like, what the fuck, dude? Anyway, that's like the blight of me and Yardbird Tuna. But
anyway,
so Joanna Angel, I met her.
back to the porn.
The porn isn't the important shit here. We went from kids'
know.
cartoons
The porn.
to a little bit of politics to porn now and jerking off for gay gentlemen, you know. Well, like this is a very eclectic fucking episode. But Joanna Angel, I met her and some of her staff. That fucking lady has her shit together. She had a fucking Rolex on her wrist that was worth more than the Escalade she drove there in. Like she had money. She knew she had a business. She had a website. She had her shit together. Her whole thing, her stick was, she was in New York. She went to business school in New York, and then started doing the porn. And apparently, like, she does like this rockabilly tattooed horror style porn. Mm-hmm. And I guess she's got a huge following out of it, and even hired girls. She had like her own version of like the Suicide Girls, you know.
Yeah.
Like she had a
brand.
dude.
Yeah.
Even some of the chicks that she would bring down there, I was like,
That's
oh
crazy.
my god, dude, I would fucking
all my
destroy
shit is
you.
old school.
Yeah.
I just watch old school. Like I search that. That's what I watch.
Yeah.
I don't like this fucking first person point of view shit.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like any of it. And
Yeah.
and like, but I was scrolling through Instagram, and I came across this thing. There's this guy that he always asks people if like fit people if they're natural or not, like if they're on steroids or not. Like that's his whole gimmick. This guy Kenny KO.
Yeah.
And I guess he went to like a porn convention, and he came across this chick, and he was talking to her, and I was like, who the fuck is this girl? and she looks like approaching middle-aged woman.
Yeah.
Redhead, really good looking, really
Yeah.
sexy, and like I was like, I gotta see who this chick is, and I googled her up. Super playful,
Yeah.
funny.
What's her name?
Her name's Sophie Marie.
I think I know that chick.
Yeah, I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of that.
Let's look her up. Let me see.
You go have at it.
Yeah, let's do this, man. Let's see.
But I was like, Jesus Christ, like I don't know what I'm missing out on, I guess, because I'm not like that crazy into the world of porno, like to this point. Like, you know, at one point in my life, I guess I was, but yeah, as I got older, I was kind of like, whatever. I just get nostalgic for the old stuff.
Sophie
Marie, Sofie Marie. You're going silent here.
Yeah. Let me look up this porn star real quick while you guys are fucking still tuned in here. I mean, there's definitely some images here.
I gotta put my glasses on. Nah, that's not her.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. We'll have to do further research after the episode.
Yeah, that's something you're gonna have to look at. This chick is like, you know, she looks like a real woman, like a real chick, like a chick that you would see.
How about this one?
Nah. This chick's like a white chick. Like
This is a
that.
white
Well,
chick.
that chick looks somewhat Latina, I guess.
Yeah.
This is her. This is her right here, Christopher.
I'm gonna have to be telling my son this someday. Hey, what are you looking at on the fucking
Now
internet?
here, I think she's got the fake boobies. They weren't always a thing, but
Yeah.
you know, which I don't care for. But
Yeah. We should do a whole fucking episode on porn.
didn't
Dude.
we already do that?
Did we do it? We didn't. I
We
don't think
did a whole episode about
I
porn.
feel- I feel like-
I think that one episode was about us searching for porn as
Oh
kids.
yeah. But I'm saying like our favorite porn stars. I'm saying what we
Well, I think we just did, didn't we?
well we definitely did a solid half hour of like you know
Yeah.
our jerk off material. You know.
Yeah,
And
if
I
it-
want everybody that listens to this show to understand that everybody that we mentioned, I have jerked off numerous times to. Numerous. I want you to, when you listen to our show, I just want you to know that I am a habitual jerker-offer. And I only say that because John heard me say it on
and
another
you said
episode.
it on that one episode.
And
it was
fucking
like jerk
loved
or
it.
offer. Yeah.
Never once jerked off for the gay guys, but I'm not saying that I wouldn't do it. I'm just not hungry enough yet, you know?
That's wild, man. That is
Yeah.
fucking crazy. The OnlyFans thing is fucking, it blows my mind. And like, if that's your option, like if you could just sit at home in your fucking apartment and fucking, you know.
So from a business standpoint, think about this.
Are you
which
going
I
to go to
think-
work at fucking Walmart if you could sit at home and fucking
Yeah,
fiddle
but-
around with yourself?
Think about this though: the amount of the evolution of control in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. If a young lady or a young man decided that that's the industry they wanted to go into, they were very much at the mercy of the producers, the people that make that content.
Right.
They dictated how much money they made. There was just very little control on the content creators' side of things. And even in the music industry and porn and a lot of other industries, it's all going back towards this, like, this is you as I think it's fascinating that we're pushing away from big corporate stuff. Like, it's going back to people being 1099 employees and being self-employed, because that's what a fans-only person is. You're a 1099. Fans only hands you a fucking
Oh, do they really?
a statement that
I guess
says
they
this
do,
is how
yeah.
much money you made. You figure out your taxes. Uber, same thing. You are your own boss. Go work on your
There's
own
no,
schedule.
yeah, you don't need a cab company anymore.
Yeah.
Like, do cab companies really exist anymore?
So there's an evolution going on in our culture where people are going back to being capitalists, which is funny because politically everybody's pushing for this idea of socialism, but really, as a culture,
Yeah.
people are, what the fuck is happening up there?
You got somebody here working.
Are my kids knocking on the fucking door?
Ah, didn't you have somebody here looking at some shit?
No, that's a whole other story. The guy wants to sell his food.
Ah.
But I think it's fascinating that we're going back to being self-employed. but with this weird twist of like, I want to be affiliated with a company, but I want to be my own boss. People are very independent now. People don't want to go work a 9 to 5. I don't. Even when you and I talked about like being a driver at your work, I like the idea of like I can just do it when I want to do it. You know, which ain't necessarily like you and I discussed this off air, and I was like, I don't know if I want to commit to that. But I think that that's where a lot of people, young people's heads are. I want to be my own boss. I want to make my own money. I want to see. Well, I think that like this old idea of working hourly. I talk to the union guys on the job sites a lot, and I'm like, I know you make a lot of money, but I got to be honest. I will never in my fucking life work for hours ever again. Me personally, I can't do it because then all I'm concerned with is the clock and watching the clock spin. But if I work for piecework or commission, there's an incentive, and I think I need that incentive. That's my motivation. So fans only, or even social media creators, me trying to be a social media creator, there's an incentive. If I get my 10,000 followers on TikTok and I get views over 100,000, I want to make money. It's going to be, that's why young people want to do this. They want to be their own boss, you know? So, I don't know, John.
I don't know either.
Maybe we need to jerk off for the gay guys. Individually, not in the same room.
Imagine how much money we could make together.
Hey, John, you're sporting good today, bud. Really got that thing rock solid. What'd you do, Papa Cialis or Viagra? What'd you do, man? You're looking sharp today. I mean, you look like you could punch holes through drywall. Oh, shit, man.
Well, I thought we were just going to talk about fucking cartoons.
Well, you said you wanted a lighthearted episode.
Yeah, it was
you know?
a very lighthearted episode.
So I'm here to make you giggle, man.
I'm sure if anybody was listening, they were like, these motherfuckers are talking about the feminists.
Yeah.
You know?
Fuck them feminists.
We went from feminists to jerking off in a, you know.
I just want the feminists to know that they've always been in control. It's such a, like, an illusion. Dude, believe me, back when, like, the kings of England, I'm certain that if the queen said, listen, motherfucker, I am not sucking your tiny little dick until you make peace with Spain. You know, like...
We have to iron this out.
I really feel like there's been a lot of wars where the king was like, all right, what the fuck, man? What the fuck?
How do you think the Treaty of Versailles came about? Yeah.
I believe that there was some influence there, you know? You know, you ain't getting... Dude, I'm not going to let you fuck me doggy style.
Low-key, you chicks are running the show.
You're running... Dude, you are Beyonce, who rules
like, think
the world.
about it.
You've
like,
always ruled the fucking world.
Yeah.
You know, you gave birth to the fucking King of Kings. You did it without a dick. I mean, dude, come on. There was no... You had a fucking baby that was a god. You did that. I didn't do it. There was no penis involved. The fucking virgin, man. She did it on her own. That's how fucking great women are.
Nah, I mean, I think we get that idea in our head that they're, like, less than, the man is. But women do some wild shit, man. Wild shit.
All the time. All the time. You know?
If you had to have a period every fucking month, you wouldn't be able to deal with it. Could you imagine?
I'll say this.
It's not just that. And I don't mean to just boil it down to that, but I mean childbirth, being a mother,
postpartum
depression.
My wife had a really hard time
the
with
chemicals, all that shit, and then imagine you had to just work with your kids, every fucking day.
I mean, I'm ignoring my kids right now,
but I'm saying
we chased them out of the room.
Yeah, dude, kids are a motherfucker.
Yeah,
motherfucker.
I think it's a
housework is a motherfucker.
It is.
It's hard. It's stressful, and you don't get paid for it. You know.
You just got to keep your shit up.
You're getting supported, I guess, but
you get a blowjob occasionally. You know.
Yeah, you do.
Unless you don't.
And listen,
unless you don't fix it. I got to go outside and fix
Yeah.
the faucet on the soffit on the side of my house.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
Man, otherwise, she's gonna be like, "You better sleep on the fucking couch and watch Gianna Michaels."
Sophie Marie.
There was this black chick back in the day, and I still follow her on Instagram.
Heather Hunter was my favorite black chick.
Really?
Well, not my favorite, but I really liked her. She was really skinny, and like she was light skinned. She was really pretty.
Really?
Yeah, I liked Heather Hunter.
No, I kind of liked.
But I like the black chicks that are like black.
So this chick was very dark and
Yeah.
very thick, and she still is. Now she does more Instagram modeling and like a little cheek here and there, a little under boobage, you know.
Right.
But her name is fuck me, man. I can't believe I just forgot her name.
There's a new chick, African girl.
Yeah.
Her name's Zawadi. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Out of control. Out of control.
I gotta look this up. I gotta fucking see.
All right, let's end this show and you can go jerk off or something. All right.
I gotta, dude. I gotta see what she's doing. I gotta see.
There was a
Something-
chick, Ebony A's, back in the day when I was a kid. That was one of my favorites.
Damn, I can't believe I forgot her
Ebony
fucking name.
A's and who else? Nina Hartley was always one of my favorites. Madison Stone. Madison Stone was a favorite of mine.
I gotta take a piss, man.
Yeah. Well, we gotta end this one.
Yeah.
So let's call it a day, dude.
Yeah.
I gotta go get some breakfast.
Yeah, man. God damn it! I can't believe I forgot her fucking name. Hey, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Next episode, I am going to name that porn star. And I'll tell you how much I loved her and what I appreciated about her. We should do in honor of feminism, we should do a how we appreciate women episode. Let's do the next episode. We're going to describe how much we appreciate women and what they do for us,
Yeah.
including all our favorite porn stars. We'll name it Feminism.
Oh, Christ. I bet you, dude. You know how that David Allen Coe one got so many fucking views? Because we named it David Allen Coe?
I like starting shit, man.
Yeah, you name an episode Feminism, I bet you motherfuckers would fucking be like, what are these fucking assholes talking about?
Do you know how many women would tune in? The fucking comments would shoot through the roof, dude. It might get banned.
Listen.
They might be like, "Yo, I can't believe you fucking did
Enough
that."
women already hate me. So
I'll take this one on the chin. This one's me.
hey,
man.
listen, if they're talking about you, you did something right. If they're not talking about you, that's when you know you did
I'm
something
just saying,
wrong.
I feel like there's love and hate is such a fine line, you know, like. So,
Fuck it.
anyway, man, let's go get some breakfast.
All right, dude.
See you, brother.
Later.
Ren! Oh, Ren! Boy, Ren, if you think you're happy now, wait till you hear this. It's a record of my favorite song. It's called Happy Happy Joy Joy.
Hello, boys and girls. This is your old pal, Stinky Whizzleteats. This is a song about a whale. No! This is a song about being happy. That's right. It's the Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy song. Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy, joy. I don't think you're happy enough. That's right. I'll teach you to be happy. I'll teach your grandmother to suck eggs. Now, boys and girls, let's try it again. Happy, happy, joy, joy. 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 Happy, happy, joy, joy, joy. If and you ain't the granddaddy of all liars, the little critters of nature, they don't know that they're ugly. That's very funny. A fly marrying a bumblebee. I told you I'd shoot, but you didn't believe me. Why didn't you believe me? Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. happy, 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 joy, joy, joy.
Ren, you're angry?
You darn tootin', I'm angry. I have never been this angry in my entire life. Hey, I feel great. I love being angry. Thank you, Stimpy.